everyone, it's Morgan from For the Love of Paper, and I'm here with another layout process video for you. This time I'm using my March Delish Scraps Just Add Paper Kit, and I am scrapping a photo of my grandma. I'm also using this piece of paper that I stitched on a few months ago when I was pregnant and I couldn't really do much. I was sort of laying on the couch for a while doing nothing and decided to stitch all these little circles and stuff all down the side of a page, and then I'd completely forgotten about it until I saw it in my stash when I was cleaning up the other day, and thought it would be perfect to do a layout using one of the photos of my grandmother. She's recently passed away at the beginning of the year, and my dad came over just this weekend gone, and 2 weekends ago, and brought me over a bunch of her photos that I had scanned into my onto my computer, and so I printed one of them out to do this layout. Unfortunately, I have no idea how old she was or what year this photo was taken. As much as she was a great sort of scrapbooker, photo memory keeper, she did write locations and stuff, but not a lot of the photos had dates or years on them, so it's a bit sad, but never mind. I would imagine she's probably in her early 20s just looking at her. So it is definitely a gentle reminder to myself and anyone else out there that forgets, like I do, to add dates to their photos when they're doing layouts. Go back and put some dates on, even if it's just the year. I think it's pretty beneficial for people looking back in 60, 70 years time, to be able to know sort of how old the people were in the photo. Anyway, that's my little handy tip for the day. Don't forget to add dates. So I just mounted it with some old tissue paper, and then a couple of these scraps from my scrap stash. They were from some old 6x6 paper pads that only had a few sheets left in them, so trying to use up that stash that I've got there with these little bits. And yeah, so the reason I thought this stitched paper would be good for the layout is my grandmother taught me how to do a lot of different crafts. Pretty much all the crafts that I know she taught me how to do, including cross stitch and needlepoint and things like that. So this was just perfect to sort of showcase that that aspect of our life together, or I don't know, things that we used to do together. This cool butterfly sheet came in the kit, and it's on vellum, so some butterflies printed on vellum. So I used my chameleon marker, or a couple of them, a purple one and a pink one, to just colour those in. And I did colour them on the reverse side, so not the side that the butterflies were printed on, because it kept bleeding. So I did it on the reverse side, so that to give them a little bit of colour. And then I just fussy cut them out and sprinkled them on this side of the page. And then I'm going to make a bit of an embellishment cluster down the side here, starting with this big pink flower. And then I decided one of the butterflies might look really good on top of that flower, so I put that on there as well. And I think it just sort of makes the continuity of the butterflies across the whole page. So that's really fun. So yeah, my Nana was a great influence in my life, in my crafting life. Anyway, she taught me how to knit, she taught me how to crochet, to cross stitch. We used to do scrapbooking together, not in the sense like I'm doing here now, but like cutting out scraps from magazines and, keeping like bus tickets when we went out on trips and things like that. And we'd stick them in a great big scrapbook like the kids use at school these days. And so even though it's completely different to what I do now, I think it's always kind of been in the back of my mind that that's what I did, and that was something she taught me. She was probably my biggest crafty influence in the adults in my life growing up. None of the other adults in my life are particularly crafty at all. My mum's certainly not. My dad can knit, I believe. I don't think I've seen it, but he tells me he can. And he's pretty handy with like handyman stuff. He's very good at that, and I'm fairly useless. But crafting, there's no one really does it. My sister does now. She does crochet and knitting and things like that, which is cool, and definitely not my forte. I am crap at crochet. She's awesome. I am not awesome at all. So we have our strengths and weaknesses. But yeah, so that's kind of what the whole inspiration of this layout was about. And then I used a little journaling tag and some of the washi tape up in that top corner just to do another little embellishment cluster to try and keep to my 3 that I normally try to keep to. And this layout, as you can see, there's lots of pink. Like this whole layout is pink and a little bit of purple. Some of the thread that I've used is purple, which is pretty unusual for me. If you've watched any of my other videos, the pink doesn't appear very often, mainly because I do boy layouts. So it was so fun to do this layout using just pink, and the Delish Scraps Just Add Paper kit was like perfect timing because the kit was called Pretty in Pink. So absolutely perfect to be able to do this layout, and I had so much fun. I really did. This is probably one of my favorite layouts. I know I said that about the grid layout I did a couple of weeks ago. That was some photos of my cat, and I think I said that was my favorite, and I'm pretty sure this one beats that as my favorite. And what am I doing? Oh, firstly cutting out another little butterfly from that paper pad, because you know you can't have too many butterflies. I probably could have put a bunch more on there, but I tried to keep it a little bit restrained. And what else? I think that's a little wood veneer. I think that's from my stash. And then this kit came with some half pearls, so I scattered a couple of those in the middle of the stitch circles. What else did I add to this? All my journaling I did off camera at the end of the video. The top left I just added some tiny word stickers, and then that circle journaling spot I just did something really generic on there, and then I actually did some hidden journaling at the end on the big tag that came in the kit. So yeah, that was, you'll see the little tab at the end in the end still photos, but yeah, nothing on camera for this one. So just deciding to stick everything down because I am happy with all of the placements. Sorry, you just heard that. That's my son and husband just came home. I thought they would be gone a little bit longer. They'd been gone for a bike ride, but they've just come home, so I apologize for the noise in the background. Hopefully they're not too bad until this video is finished. So just sticking all the embellishments down everywhere, as you do. So this was really fun. I want to do some more stitching. I want to do another layout similar to this. I'm actually thinking I might try and get a photo of my other grandmother, because this is my dad's mum. I want to get one of my mum's mum, and she's got tons of photos floating around. She doesn't put them in scrapbooks or albums or anything, so I want to get one of her, maybe at a similar age, and do another similar sort of layout to go on the opposite page. So like have the stitch circles on the left hand side of the page instead of the right, and then have them side by side. I thought that could be a bit fun. And I love that heart. It's all glittery and sparkly and just freaking awesome. I love it, and I'm so glad I got it on a layout. I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to get it onto a layout that wasn't of myself. And I don't like doing too many selfie layouts, but it's kind of the only time I get to use pink things and glittery things. I know I can use them on boy layouts, but it always feels a bit funny. So then I got out these thickers. They're foam thickers. I don't know what collection or anything they were from because they're not in their packet any longer and they're really, really, really old. So I just did a simple title and it was just Love You, Nana. And does Nana have two N's in the middle of it? Now I'm looking at that, I'm reconsidering my spelling. I might have to Google that. I'm terrible. I think I always spelt it like that, but maybe it does have two N's. I don't know. I can't remember. How bad is that? I'm going to blame my pregnancy brain on that one. So I used that to spell out Nana, and then I just used some of these Simple Stories tile letter stickers to do the Love You part at the top. And I think, yeah, I was just trying to work out whether I had enough of the letters to be able to spell out what I needed to spell out. And of course I do. And it's just more pink and it's just, oh, love it. I love these little, these kits from Delish Scraps. They're always so fun to work with. And I can never kill them. There's so many little bits and pieces in there. I don't think I've ever used one up completely. That and a lot of them come with stencils and they you know, they're not a one-use thing. You can use them over and over, so that's always fun. Oh, and then there was a little bit of thread coming out the back, so I just had to stick that down. And then I think I add, what do I add? Something down there. Oh, a little tassel. Oh no, it's all right. I wanted to get some of these little micro seed bead things. I'm not sure of their official name. I wanted to get some of those on the layout, but they just didn't really show up on the black cardstock, so I left it. And then I got a tassel on, and I have got so many tassels, and I have received so many tassels in kits, and I think I've bought some, and they never get on layouts. Never, ever, ever. But this one absolutely fitted in perfectly. Like, it was like the perfect spot to put that tassel. It's just waiting for it. And I put a bit of glue down, like in a semicircle shape, so it would fan out. And this little pot is something that belonged to my Nana. It is an Avon jar from probably more than 30 years ago. She had it my entire childhood. She used to have it sitting on her table in her entryway, where she had all sorts of little trinkets and goodies and things like that. And this little purple jar always caught my eye. I always carried it around and I took it out with me. And it's made of glass. I'm surprised I never broke it. And it always had these little stars in it. I don't know why she put them in there or anything, or I don't know. It was just one of those things that this little jar always had these stars in it. And it still to this day smells like the cream that used to be in there, the face cream or whatever it was. From Avon, and it was just one thing that it was just always my little thing. And when she actually, before she passed away, when she moved out of her home and she moved into a nursing home, Dad saved that for me because he knew that was my little thing. So I decided to get them out and stick them on the layout. And that's this one done, guys. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.